I'm your host, Lama Tantrapa, and today I am delighted to begin our World Congress on Qigong with introducing the chairperson of our Congress, Dr. Effie Chow, the founder of East-West Academy of Healing Arts, the creator of the World Qigong Congresses, the organizer of many conferences over the years. Thank you so much, Dr. Chow, for initiating it and for bringing in the new year, 2021, with abundance of love, energy, prosperity, and happiness.
Yes, thank you very much, Lama. It is my pleasure and my joy to greet all of you to bring in 2021 with prosperity, abundance, health, love, and peace. May this 2021 turn around and be the epitome of what you wish for in life. And we leave 2020 behind and all the challenges, but appreciate what we have learned from the challenges, because from challenges is where growth is. And so therefore we're all here because we want to grow from our challenging times. We are into the 20th World Congress. It was formulated because there was a lack of unity in the practice by all the practitioners. Everybody was on their own, and we can only have effect on our system if we gather together. And so that's what the Congress is to unify individuals and even help them develop partnerships and be more effective in their role as health practitioners and be part of the innate and traditional system of health and life as we know it in the West. We have broadened the scope of just Qigong to include all the other aspects, including natural medicine. So in other words, that we are looking at everything that is outside of a Western medical purview of practice. And so that means ethnic medicine and complementary alternative medicine, which has come to be called, and natural healing. So it embraces everything, and it embraces the look at consciousness and furthering our consciousness beyond the borders of our planet. So we are rising to a universal consciousness, and that's where we have to be, because we arrived at this state of our chaotic pandemic because of the way we've been living, because of what our normal life is. So therefore, now, 2021, we are going to not go back to the norm, which has created our problem, but we are going to develop a new world order in which we will respect the earth, environmental concerns. We will respect our body so that we eat well and do healthy things and think and spiritually be healthier and positive. Having a positive mind is very, very important, because as you all know, if you think something positive, you will beget positive things. But if you think negative things, you will beget negative things coming your way. So that is taking it to a really infinite order. So even our expression of no problem, that downs our energy. Or we say, oh, can we have fish for dinner? Or why don't we have fish for dinner? Why don't we go to the movie? That why don't you downs our energy. So we're not conscious about what we do to ourselves on an everyday basis. So we talk about PMSA is a practice. PMSA, So positive mental attitude, speech, and action. And that has been embedded into the ancient practices, the Chinese medicine, Ayurveda medicine, and you name it. That is the criteria for good survival or thriving in our life. So our subtitle says, Science and Art of Thriving in Interesting Times. So all times are interesting, whether it's good times or challenging or bad times. So from the challenging times is when we grow the most. Because if you have it good, you just kind of float along and enjoy life without really having to think about it, without really having to really challenge yourself to find what is internal. So this is a time for us to go internal, because I hear from a lot of people say, oh, I'm so bored, there's lockdown, and oh, we're sort of feisty with each other now. Oh my God, how terrible, right? This would be a time for you to explore the inner brilliance of yourself, because we were all born brilliant, except that society and our environment have kept compressing us with negativism. So this is a time to blossom like the lotus flower, because the lotus flower, came from not just murky water, but full of maggots and bad, water and polluted water. And yet look at the lotus flower blooms. It's one of the most beautiful flowers, delicate and very powerful, very powerful. And so take that as an example, that you can't blame your past. Well, I had a bad mother and father and all that, and we're always blaming things outside of ourselves. Then this is a time to take stock of what is you, and also that you are the creator of your own destiny. I wonder how many of you feel that. You are the creator of your own destiny at all times. So it's whether you're positive or whether you're negative, or you choose this road versus that road, there's all alternatives for you. And so, therefore, when we are faced with good times, we take things for granted. And sometimes the challenges come along, and God or Buddha, I use God and Buddha. You folks can have your own, ideology and your your spiritual belief. But we're being tested. If you're having a good time and you have run with challenge, most of the time we say, well, how come I'm being challenged? And really resist that instead of embracing it. And say, okay, I guess I've had it so good that God and Buddha is challenging me now. Do I deserve to have that goodness or not? So that in your challenging time, that you need to be grateful. Being grateful is tough when it is so hard on you, spiritually, mentally, and physically. So we must remember, and in Chinese, there's a word called danger. There's a word, the danger. At the same time, that word danger means opportunity. And I'm sure you can find that in many of the scripts, that danger means opportunity. So this is a time that we should take the opportunity to explore new avenues, new thoughts, new dimensions to explore. And that is what's exciting, if that's what you feel. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. I thought the Chinese character for crisis consists of the two components, the danger and opportunity.
Crisis, yeah, okay. All right. So you want to go back to that? Okay, I'll just start. Excuse me. In Chinese, that there's an expression of crisis. And the crisis embodies danger and opportunity in the same meaning. All right, so therefore, it is at the time that we are most challenged that we have the most opportunity if we have the mindset to take advantage of that. Okay, and so now our conference then, when we go on our own, it's lonely and it's a big struggle to really try to set up a business and to reach people and etc. But when we join together, we build a house, build a mansion, build a platform, a family, whereas we look after each other, not challenge and not be in competition with one another, friendly competition, okay. But, when we first had the conference, and this is the first one 20 years ago, first two conferences, the Qigong masters would not sit down to listen to another Qigong master. It's like, I'm good. They're not, It took me 2 years to have them sit down and listen to another conference. We had set the VIP, seatings and all that. And finally, and they would chat in the in the hall while the speakers are. We'd have to move them out and have to set out tables outside the hall so that they could go there and talk. And so that's like Mama Chow, having the children behave. And so, but after the third year, they start to come and listen, and they're going, yeah, that's right, developing this camaraderie. And they even develop partnerships to work together. And programmatically, it enhanced them, and also financially, it enhanced them. So both ways, they win. Okay, so anyway, so in developing this platform then, the Congress, we have brought so many people internationally together. And I think if people look at where they met, the friends that they have in Qigong, they'll realize, oh, I met you at the Congress. And this is what I hear throughout the world. And it's so beautiful. And I hope we'll continue to do that, And the Congress features some of the top level people and experts in the world as presenters and speakers. So, so that together we can make influence on the system. And I think this is important, not only just be a practitioner, but really care about what happens with the system of health and life in the West, in the world, okay? So that together we have made impact on the system, incorporating Tai Chi into the system, Qigong, and definitely traditional Chinese medicine. And the marking time was in 2000. Then President Bill Clinton had developed the White House Commission on Complementary and Alternative Medicine Policy. And I was fortunate to be on that, a 20-member White House Commission. And with that, in 2000, it opened up the world, not just the USA, opened up the world to have divisions or programs within almost every medical school in the country, and including other countries too. I won't talk about how many or anything like that. But that was 2000, it was a turning point. And so that so that no matter how small, or they have a big department. And also, we were fortunate enough to be involved, and I'm talking about policy and administration now of the system, that we were also involved with the Office of Alternative Medicine, which was mandated by Congress. That was in 1992. It's a long time ago. But we must know history in order to flourish today and in the future. 1992, when Dr. David Eisenberg had done a study and found with with his colleagues and had found that about 60-something% of the people practice alternative medicine, and or they could call it ethnic medicine, etc. You know, and that a lot of money, they spent $19 billion out of pocket to go to complementary alternative medicine practice to stay well and to heal from conditions that was not being healed by Western medicine or other means. And so that became the Office of Alternative Medicine. The Office of Alternative Medicine took that over, and it made it the National Integrative Healing System, or his healing department within NIH. NIH is a research arm of the government, and that's where a lot of research is being done, etc. So these are two significant things that we have been involved with, and it put complementary alternative medicine on the map, CAM. But so it includes Qigong, Chinese medicine, and all other ethnic medicine as well, because there is a commonality. I think that's what we need to talk about, not that we emphasize the differences and that we're better, they're not as good, or anything like that, but we must be congenial and support one another. Then we will overcome a deficient system or support a deficient system and making it become better. And I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, wow, that's really good, you know, and all those are practitioners, that how difficult you have found to make a niche into the hospitals, the clinics, and the universities, and the traditional system. It's hard on your own, but with a collective consciousness and a collective body of people moving through, it makes it a little bit easier. And so it's been growing all these 19 years. And our conference has not only been in USA, but we've held 4 in Tokyo, run by Master Shin Chiping, who is head of the Shaolin Temple in Japan. He is our representative in Japan and has held 4 major, wonderful conferences. And in Italy, Rome, Marissa Volca, who is head of the Qigong organization, she has put on 4 major conferences and have worked with the hospitals there and set up research into the hospitals, etc. And so she's those 2 have been very good. And then in Canada, under Dr. Stanley Ngui, and his son have taken the lead in developing one congress in Toronto. And that was also really beautiful. So actually, I'm very proud that in the whole community, worldwide community, when we said, oh, the Congress is going to take place. Oh, yes, the Congress. And they identify with our Congress. Just we say the Congress, they know it's a Congress of Qigong, Tai Chi, Qigong, traditional Chinese medicine. So that is absolutely wonderful. And we will continue. And this conference will continue. Although with every conference then, we encourage people to be brave, to explore unacceptable, unknown, or remarkable, spectacular alternative methods, as well as medical system developments, research developments, to go to the outer edge, and that they feel safe within the context of the Congress. If we take a look at anything, it isn't that we accept it right away. We do our investigation and our research before we say, yes, absolutely. But we foster people to explore it. And if it works for them, then use it. And just an example now, coming back to COVID-19. the heat of our pandemic situation. Now, and I know everything I say, I'm going to get, people who debate that, and that's fine. This is what conversation is about. This is what knowledge is about, and that's what progress is about, that we discuss and debate and learn new ideas. That in Wuhan, at the early part of March and April this year, that the breakout was the pandemic of Wuhan, Hebei. And at first they had Western medicine, and it wasn't helping. It was in a serious situation. So the government called in several thousand traditional Chinese medicine to come and treat in most all their hospitals. And they found that they respond Qigong and Tuina and Moxa, acupuncture, and definitely herbs. And of course, attitude-wise, they brought that in, the practitioners of Chinese medicine. And voila, 2 months where they had opened new centers for COVID, because that was so extreme. They closed the hospitals down because there were no more cases. And I can produce a lot of publications and official and news items that has talked about that. A group of us have been exploring this very much. And within 2 months, 2 to 3 months, the country opened up. No more virus threat because they didn't have new patients coming in. They had to close the new hospitals that they opened up. Now that is remarkable. But since then, and possibly because of the attitude of USA towards China and sort of calling it the Chinese virus, which created a lot of hostility and violence in different parts of the world towards the Chinese. I don't know how many of you know this, but these are things that's been happening. And so therefore, I think people were afraid to bring Chinese medicine in as a possible treatment. So the politics took over. And health should never be political. And actually, this is what I was taught when I grew up and learned nursing. I have a nursing background, and my PhD is in education, and then I do have acupuncture and a Qigong practice. So that what has happened that we could learn from what happened in Wuhan, Hebei, we politically castrated it, and everybody was afraid to talk about it, so that nothing was done except other countries. I think New Zealand and some of the other places did try the Chinese, but not in the total force that it was done. And you have to go all the way. You can't try dipping your toe in the ocean, You got to plunge in to really feel what it's like. So, and this is another thing, objective of our conference, is to promote investigation and research back into the successes of other than Western medicine. We support the vaccine, of course, and we're very excited that they're expediting the vaccine and everything. However, it is being known that 60% only of the population in the US will go for the vaccine. So whether that's going to contain it or not, there's a problem there, okay? So we must explore this other avenue, because the other avenues we're talking about is building up the immune system of the body. And this is where not only for COVID-19, but for cancer, for arthritis, for heart condition, for diabetes, for birth defects, and all that, even common cold, okay? That is the immune system. That is the biggest factor. And if you have a strong immune system, then you don't fall prey to the invader, whether it's COVID-19 or the flu or TB or polio, or just going back into those times. But again, it's shown that people who have a strong immune system is resistant to these invaders. Even weather, we fall prey to weather and become cold and have flu and etc. So there has not been the emphasis in our approach to COVID about the immune system. And that's what we need to go for. And there are, for example, even vitamin C, mega doses of IV vitamin C has been written up of successes, but it's just been not looked at. So we encourage looking at all these opportunities to maybe that there is something other than vaccine as well. So particularly if 50% of the population is not, gearing towards having vaccine. So we need to approach life from all aspects, not just one narrow path. Okay. So that's another direction of our Congress. So the other major one is establishing a wellness system that's equal, if not more powerful than the medical system. See, right now, insurance will cover what you suffer from being ill. So people are waiting to get ill before they get reimbursed for going to take care of their health. And so to be preventive and health promoting, they're not doing it because they don't have the money to do it. So that's what we are developing with a big body of people that is supporting this. And we invite you too to come on. We need all kinds of talents to move this through, from legal to academic to just promoting the thing. And if you have money, that would be wonderful. Yes. So, but it's developing this system of health care. Right now, we have a system of sick care. And the director of NIH, the previous director of NIH, said, we don't have a system of health care. We have a system of sick care. And so that we develop a reimbursement system, and I hate to call it insurance, but a reimbursement system, so that people who want to do things like consult with diet and exercise and meditation and having treatment with acupuncture, and I know acupuncture is limited in what they're funded for, chiropractor, and they're limited too as to how much funding they get. And the alternatives or complementary methods, then they would get reimbursed to stay well. And that's when we will reach the ultimate. So our platform in the 20th World Congress is ultimately that we hope in 2023 that we will develop this system well, and we can go in stages of development. We don't wait until we develop a whole full blown. We will work with the insurance companies. We will work with the medical system, and we will work with developing a total new insurance system for this particular aspect. So we have a lot of people interested in it, and people connected with money, but we are developing now the prototype for it. And I have to say that there are many different things that are developing, like the AOEP, the Alliance of Energy Practitioners, or the National Certification Center of Energy Practitioners, which is putting forth legislation to license energy practitioners. And so there will be discussion on this, but there's a lot of very important things happening. And we need all of you to come on board and to really support, if only in name and organization. But if you can with money, then that would be absolutely beautiful. Okay. And so anyway, we'd like you to send us, this is an interactive Congress. So we'd like to, if you can't come to the Congress, or even a virtual, that you can write in some of your concerns, or write in your skills and your experiences and what you would like to, other practitioners, other experts that you would like to see being part of our program. And so our Congress is your program. It's your Congress, not my program, not my Congress, or the co-sponsors that have been wonderful to co-sponsor every year. It's you, but it's you that will make it yours. So I invite you to really interact and send in your ideas and whatever your thoughts are. And we'd like to hear also personal stories, because personal stories is what makes history. And personal stories is what's interesting. And personal stories is what is educational for people on a fun basis, like a heartfelt basis. Not funny, haha, but fun. That learning, serious learning is fun, not hard work, and that it's your story that's going to make the difference in the healthcare system and the life system of our Western world, that's going to make changes. So, all right, I would like to thank all the people that has been supportive of us all these years. There are many, very loyal, and I wish I could say them all here, but perhaps we can, by website, we can put a lot of this information down. And but I would like to thank some of our co-chairs who's been with us for many, many years, such as Dr. Alex Fang, Dr. Stephen Ong, Dr. Terry Shintani, and Dr. John Madison. And I could go on, but these are a few that's been long-term. And Gigi O of Kung Fu Magazine, and Dr. Stanley Lui, and so forth. I'd really like to thank. And not last and not least is Master Lama Tantrapa, who has this year kindly voluntarily offered to help organize the Congress. And we're very, very fortunate and pleased to have him on board with us. So I thank all of you who are unknown and unnamed, that it is you who makes this possible, not us in the limelight. It is you, the support of your love and your compassion, and you're striving for peace, and you're striving for health and love. I want to thank you all, and have a wonderful conference. It will be wonderful. We got some phenomenal teachers, and so enjoy, and we will look forward to your input to us. Thank you. And my last statement is that my signature prescription is for, since many, many, many years, is at least 8 hugs, 8 Effie Chow heart-to-heart hugs, and 3 belly aching laughs a day, every day. Right now, you may have to get your hugs virtually, but really a good hug. So I'd like you all to hug yourself, right? Give yourself a nice big hug, and say, I love me. Let's say, I love me.
I love me.
Now you say, I love you, and throw your hug out.
I
love you. So I'd like you to every day do this right now, and you'll be surprised how wonderful it feels. Thank you, and blessings.